So the first thing we're going to want to do is lay the entire tent out. I'm going to lay the door towards you. So that you can kind of get an idea of how I'm setting it up. So let me just show you here. We have the front of our tent here. That's the door. You can see the opening right here. And that's the back, and of course the sides. Whoops, my tent's flying away. Okay, now, a good scout should be able to do this by themselves. So, you're going to take your first two poles here. As you can see, these are the two poles that are regular at one end and then tapered off at the other end. Let's see here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our things, our little plastic things here, and you're going to identify, you can see the little arrow there. You can see that clear. And you can see one's going to say up and one's going to say right. So you know that when you're looking at your tent, it's going to say, you're going to be able to orient yourself. So this one's going to be on the front because you're going to have up and you're going to have the right. So we're just going to easily place the tapered end into one of these plastic pieces, like so. I'm going to do it the same for the other side. Make sure it's in there good. And then we're going to go over to our tent and we are going to place the little metal peg here into the pole. Whoops, it fell out, but that's no problem. I'll just bring it up closer so that you can see it. This is how one would just easily place the peg into the pole. Just very simple. Peg into the pole. And you make sure that that's firmly on the ground. So now we're back to our tent. Alright, now you see we've done it for that side, so now we're going to do it for the other side. If you're lucky enough to have somebody with you, they can just sit here or stand here and hold this pole for you, but if not, you can just put it on the ground. Making sure that everything, you know, stays the way it is. Placing my pegs into the poles, making sure this is still attached up here. Okay. So now we have our two little A-frames here. And next what we're going to do is we're going to grab our third pole, or our middle pole, I should say. Here, the one with, again, the one with both sides tapered. As you can see here. What we're simply going to do is stick one end through. I'm going to detach this so I can show you. Pretend for a moment that this is on the inside of the tent, so near the middle of the tent. What you're just going to do is going to stick it into one side, making sure if your poles happen to be bent for some reason, that if it has any sort of a curve in it, that you make sure when you set up your tent that the pole goes with the curve. So for example, you see that my pole here has a little bit of a curve like this. So when you set up your tent, you place your little plastic piece, I'm not sure what this is called, but put your plastic piece in there, it goes with it. So it's going to go with the arch of the tent. Alright, so I'll put my pole back together here. And what we're gonna And again, what we're going to do is we're just going to place the middle pole into the plastic connecting piece on the other side. And the way I do this, I don't know if this is the actual, you know, official way to do this, but the way I do it is I just get it lined up, make sure my sides are nice and tight, sides of the tent. What I do is I just push it forward. Push it forward, wiggle it through until you can see that the pole has come through. Now, the thing that I forgot to mention, you can do a lot of different things with these little loops right here. But what I like to do with them is to, before I put my middle pole in, straighten this out for you. Is to put my loop right through the middle pole. You can see that I'm doing. Just stick it right on there on the end. And then, like I showed you before, feed the pole through the connector piece like so. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put the bungee over the top of the little A-frame piece here. And so, you're going to do that with the other side. Get to do this, no worries, you know, just undo it and loop it on the end there and stick it in. Put it around the edge here, and you can see, if you take a step back, that your tent is starting to take shape. You may think that it's done, but it's really not. Now, next step is to connect the 4 little corner loops or hooks to your poles. I'll show you how to do that. Very simple. Just take the hook, stretch it, attach it to your pole. Number 1. A little different angle here, just up, around, click. Just up, doing this with one hand, up, around, click it on. Very simple. One more time, pick it up, put it around, click it on there. Very simple to set up these tents. Alright, so next I guess what we'll do is we'll put on the fly. Now remember, you have your pegs. You can put one, or you should put one, is right here on the edge. On the edge, or the corner, I should say. On the corner there, and in the front corner, like right there. Keep your tent from blowing away. Now, if you don't have your pegs for whatever reason, just make sure you put your gear in there to weight your tent down so that your tent doesn't blow away.